Most of you associate your childhood with a lot of fun, lot of memories. Mine was a lot of pain, lot of painful memories. We had to borrow clothes to wear. What you eat over here at Dheeraj, Vada Pav, we had to actually plan to do that. It took us 3 months, 6 months of planning to be able to even afford that. We used to die death of 1,000 cuts, not in a year, but on a daily basis. You will remember 1 or 2 instances of crying in your childhood. We had at least 5 or 10 of them every single day. And when you are put into abject poverty, a lot of things happen to you, and that childhood shapes who you are, who you will end up becoming. You have a choice but to move on. Second, that pain gave me, in many ways, my resolve. While growing up, if there was one thing I was certain of, that one thing was that I will not die poor. I always knew I wanted to be rich. I never knew how. In 1990, I was in college, like a lot of you. And this was the time when India experienced its first phase of bull market, the Harshad Mehta bull market. And that's where my love affair with equities or stock markets began. I got my how. I realized that if there is a way to get rich, stock market is the place to be. That love affair even now continues. It's become more intimate, more passionate. It's not come down a bit. I went and became a chartered accountant. I went and became a cost accountant. In 1995, I joined the stock markets. After that, 100% of my savings has been into equity markets, what I call the temple of wealth creation, ever since till date. Started my career as an equity analyst, and very soon realized that when I was go to sell stories or stocks to people, I had a unique ability to package that story in a language in which the investor wanted to understand. This storytelling gift was recognized by a Bombay man called Kishore Biani. He used to run a business back then called Pantaloon, which then became Future Group. And Kishore Biani asked me to come to Mumbai and join Pantaloon. So the Calcutta boy left Calcutta, came to Bombay in 2002 and joined Future Group. The market cap of Pantaloon in those days was about 50 crores. My job was only one, package the Pantaloon story and sell it to the investing world in a language in which they understand, such that our market cap would go up, we would raise more capital, we would deploy that capital to growth. And what a journey it was. From 2002 to 2007, Pantaloon's market cap went up from 50 crores to 22,000 crores. A 400 times return over a 5-year period, raised a lot of capital for Future Group. Amongst one of them, gentlemen, was a person called Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Some of you may know him, arguably India's finest investor. And Bhaiya started developing a liking for me. And Rakesh ji asked me to join his firm. I went, left Future Group and joined Rakesh Jhunjhunwala as head of his research and private equity. Spent my time with there. Both Kishore Biani, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala were very kind, gave me big bonuses, which led to me investing them in markets, started accumulating capital. One of my childhood dreams began to pan out. Then I again got an opportunity to work for a remarkable entrepreneur called Jignesh Shah. He lives in Juhu. Arguably India's first fintech, real fintech startup. He went and owned a lot of exchanges, the exchanges that you hear, MCX, Indian Energy Exchange, both listed, Singapore Mercantile Exchange, Dubai Gold and Commodity Exchange. I went with that same objective to take that story to the investing world. And then went on to become the CEO and MD of financial technologies. So in a matter of about close to about 10, 11 years, in many ways, I had achieved what I had come to this city for. My net worth swelled. My bank account looked like 30 crores for somebody who was struggling to eat vada pav to have 30 crores in bank account. You guys would assume I would have been happy, but no, I was not. The greed to make more money was so large that I wanted to add one more zero to that 30 crores. And by which time I had become a half marathoner. And then I said, why not make India fit? Why do we need to wear a Nike, RD, Reebok, Puma? And I ended up becoming an entrepreneur. Gave India a first truly Indian sports brand called Defy. Hired designers from Nike in Portland. Set up manufacturing in China. Opened exclusive Defy stores in 17 Indian cities. Close to about 22 stores. Hired Hardik Pandya, Farhan Akhtar as my brand ambassadors. But as luck would have it, that turned out to be a colossal failure. Such was the velocity of the fall that I lost 30 crores in 30 months. I was again poor. But that's where my childhood came back and helped me, because it taught me how to move on, doesn't matter. 21st August, we shut down or cremated my baby Defy. 1st September, I joined Everstone and was seconded to Burger King to now start building Burger King in India. And what a remarkable journey that has been. Burger King, I don't know how many of you know, but is among the later entrants into the Indian QSR space. We opened our first restaurant in 2014. This is almost 20 years after all the other players came into the country, be it McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut, Domino's. Sometimes when you are a later entrant, you have some advantages, some disadvantages. One big advantage we had is we didn't have to go and teach people what a burger was. McDonald's had already done that for us. But the disadvantage was because they had done that, they were a far bigger, powerful brand compared to Burger King. Nobody knew Burger King back then. Another advantage that came to us is we could actually look at the business by zooming out. We could look at the way competitor had built that business and then figure out how we want to build. One of the things that we learned is our competitor had divided the country into two parts, appointed two different guys to build two different portions of India. And the guy who was assigned to build north and east was at that point of time fighting with the corporation. We went and negotiated a very interesting agreement with Burger King Global. We took rights for the entire country, which then became our very big differentiators. Second thing that we took from them was that we will have no interference from them when it comes to menu, when it comes to pricing, when it comes to supply chain. And all this was critical to build Burger King in India when you had a very formidable household name to compete with. They were happy to give us that platform. India was the 100th country where Burger King came, and India did one of the largest taste tests ever done in the entire Burger King ecosystem. We went across the length and breadth of India to understand tastes and palates, and within that figure out what is something common to everything across the India. And what we realized is there are three things which we Indians love, including myself and all of you. We like our products to be crispy. We like our products to be spicy. And when it comes to our protein or our meat, we like it to be juicy. That became our foundation to build the menu. In any business, product becomes very key to build a business. When we were doing our rounds across the country, we recognized something very interesting. When you talk to most people who come from abroad, they look at India as a 50% vegetarian and a 50% non-vegetarian country. But when we were doing our rounds, we recognized something very interesting. That if you look at the non-vegetarian population of India, especially the Hindu non-vegetarian, they become fully vegetarian 1 day a week or 2 days a week, a Tuesday or a Saturday. Then there are months in Hindu calendar where the entire Hindu non-vegetarian population turns vegetarian. And then India is another unique country where non-vegetarians are very used to eating vegetarian food. We picked up that insight, innovated, and took a very big bet on the vegetarian side of the business. Very interesting from a Burger King point of view, because Burger King globally is seen as a beef brand. It is seen as a premium brand. But in India, we over-indexed on vegetarian, and we built the largest vegetarian menu in the Indian QSR ecosystem that had ever seen. The customer also loved that. Today, 65% of our revenue comes out of vegetarian burger, and mind you, vegetarian burger also gives us better gross margin profile. When we studied the competitor, we recognized that because they had to build the category, they had spent a lot of time on building a potato burger, and they priced it very attractive to make all of us get habituated to kind of go and eat more burgers. They were not making too much of money when they were selling this entry price potato burger. And what they then ended up doing is they priced their vegetarian burger almost 2 times the price of the potato burger, which one way was a great strategy, but the other way, a lot of people who still wanted to upgrade were not being able to upgrade. We saw a window for us and we said, okay, now let's give something different to the country. And we adopted what we call as a laddered menu approach, where we started now putting a burger every 10 rupee. Today, if you go to a Burger King, you will get a burger at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, right across to 200 rupees. It gives us more chances to get you into my store and upgrade you, and it also builds frequency for us. Something which obviously led to us creating the widest menu amongst all QSR today in the country. Third thing what we realized is because we came later into the country in 2014, 2015, the country had developed. And we started from day one working on our premium offering. This is where we got lucky because Burger King globally had a brand called Whopper. We started building the Whopper in India, which was a 5-inch bun, 5-inch patty. You have to hold it with 2 hands, 7-layer build, something the country had not seen. Built a vegetarian version of it, built a chicken version of it, and for the first time in the history of the country, also built a mutton version of it. Again, customer loved the proposition. We took Whopper to television, overnight changing the image of Burger King. We then went and added one more layer on top of Whopper, which we now call as the King's Collection, ended up giving a very different breadth of menu to the country, starting today at about 45, 50 rupees and going up as high as about 220 rupees, which kind of set the tone for our entry into the country. The country embraced us, loved us. One unique thing that worked in our favor was both globally and in India, Burger King as a brand talks to customers like you, millennials. And because you talk to millennials, we were not competing for the customer's mindshare because competition was talking to kids. The brand Burger King is a lot more cheeky brand because it talks to people like you. And our campaign broke out, why eat a burger with a clown when you can dine with a king? Overnight, we became a social media sensation. We got a lot of love from all of you. This is also the time when we took one more bold step. This is the time Swiggy, Zomato were coming into the country, whereas all the established competitor wanted to see how these guys would do. From day one, we started looking at Burger King as a laboratory, as a place to innovate, as a place to experiment. We said, we have nothing to lose. These guys are taking my burgers to people. If they succeed, great. If they don't succeed, I have nothing to lose. From day one, we integrated our technology with Swiggy and Zomato. Back then in 2015-16, when you would have ordered a Burger King burger, the order comes straight to my system in the restaurant, you get delivered. Such has been love on the platform that today, despite being a late entrant, we are the #1 delivery player in the country. We today do more deliveries per day per restaurant across all QSR, including Domino's, which is also essentially a delivery platform. So we got a lot of love over there. Today, delivery is almost 40% of our business. Had we not taken that call, it would not have been that big for us. We then went and took another bolder decision. And that decision was a very tough and an interesting one. When we came into India, the supply chain was very well organized in India. But any supplier we would go to wanted a premium to what they were selling at a McDonald's or at a Domino's. And here we had to sell a burger lower than competition because we were late. But I have to source ingredient more expensive. There is no way we could make money. We went and created our entire supply chain in India from scratch in 12 months' time. Today, all the products that you eat at a Burger King are all locally sourced, all made by Indian manufacturer. What it did to us is two things. Because we got the product right and our supply chain right, in under 7 or 8 years, we demonstrated as a business that we had the highest gross margin amongst all QSR platforms that were available in India, which also gave us a lot of happiness in terms of the quality of franchise that we were building. We also wanted to scale up very rapidly because the opportunity was large. We had rights for the entire country, but we needed capital. At that point of time, we again took a very bold decision. There were only 2 listed companies back then. One was Domino's, which was very expensive. Second was Westlife, which was the West and South franchise, but they were not growing. This was during peak COVID time when the stock markets were not doing well, but we needed the capital. deep down somewhere, I thought that our story has a lot of legs. People will see what we are trying to build. And we went and built Burger King. We took it public. When we went public, we needed about 500 crores to grow our restaurant. We were so lucky that we ended up getting 1,20,000 crores. The Burger King IPO during peak COVID was oversubscribed 157 times. That revived the primary market or the IPO market in the stock market. We got capital, and then there was nothing looking back. Today, if you look at and reflect back our journey, we probably are the fastest growing QSR franchise in the country. We were the fastest to 200 restaurant ever by any QSR brand. But more importantly, we did something more interesting and more bold. We went and we saw, this was something that was not available in the entire Burger King 100 country ecosystem. But we saw that, interestingly, the millennials, when they are at home, they like having chai, but when they go out, they want to be seen having coffee. They wanted to go on dates at a coffee shop and not at a chai tapri. And we said, this is an interesting business to build. We started experimenting with coffee inside a Burger King called a BK Cafe. Globally, this concept didn't exist. A competitor had a concept called McCafe. They took about 8 years to open 300 McCafes. We went and opened 330 in 18 months' time. Such was the love that our cafes got, that today we would be among the larger coffee players after Starbucks in India. What this did to us is gave us a lot of comfort and confidence, and we have now embarked on a journey. This November of 2024, Burger King will end 10 years in India, by which time we would become the largest burger QSR in India, overtaking a very strong brand and a competitor who has been there now for over 25, 27 years. But at Burger King, this is what we say, that it's still day one at Burger King. We are still getting started. We went and acquired Burger King Indonesia. So today when you look at Burger King India, it also owns Indonesia. If you double click over the next 5 to 10 years, the two fastest growing economies in the world among the top 5 are India and Indonesia. Our vision now over the next 10 years is to make Burger King India the largest Southeast Asia QSR franchise in terms of number of restaurants, in terms of revenue, in terms of profitability, in terms of market cap, and in terms of the number of people that we employ. It's been a fascinating journey to build a challenger brand and see it lead competition this year, and then hopefully go on to dominate the entire Southeast Asia. Very, very proud that Burger King is an Indian franchise, now owned by Indians. 85% of our company is listed, owned by Indians. Coming back to my personal journey on which I started, great decision, I think, in the end, because my childhood taught me to move on. Went ahead, joined Everstone. In last 5 years, I've almost made up of everything that I had lost. Now willing to take one more big bet. I still want to make India fitter and healthier. I have started a small journey on my Insta and my LinkedIn, but now looking forward on the next time to come over here and speak on my next innings as an entrepreneur. Guys, it is all about alchemy of possibility. If you dare to think big, you will make it. You may fail, it's okay. But the idea is to take risk, as Harshad Mehta used to say. Risk hai to ishq hai. Thank you.